So let's get right into it. America's entire future, our economy, our quality of life, our place in the world, it might all come down to one thing: robotics. A brand new report for 2024, the U.S. Robotics Roadmap, lays out exactly what's on the line.
Okay, so the roadmap kicks off with something that's, well, it's a real wake-up call. The USA? We're no longer the leader in robotics. And this isn't just about bragging rights, you know? It has some really serious implications for our future.
So, if we're not number one, where are we? Well, check this out. When you look at what's called robot density, basically how many industrial robots there are for every 10,000 workers, we've slid all the way down to 10th place. 10th! We're falling behind manufacturing powerhouses like South Korea, Germany, and Japan, who are just going all in on automation, a lot of times with some serious government backing.
All right, so you might be thinking, okay, 10th place, so what? Why does this matter so much right now? Well, the roadmap argues it's because the U.S. is staring down what's basically a perfect storm of huge societal challenges, and they're all hitting at once.
And the first part of that storm is right here on this slide. We have a massive, and I mean massive, workforce shortage. See that orange line? That's job openings. And the blue line is the number of people available to work. You can see that gap just keeps getting wider and wider. What it means is for every 10 jobs open in the U.S., there are only 7 people to fill them. That puts the brakes on our entire economy.
And here's the next piece of the puzzle. At the exact same time, our population is getting older, fast. By 2030, more than 20%, 1/5 of the entire U.S. population is going to be over 65. That doesn't just shrink the pool of available workers even more, it puts a gigantic strain on our healthcare system.
And the third piece of this perfect storm? Our supply chains. I mean, we all lived through it, right? This quote from the report nails it. The pandemic showed us just how vulnerable we are because we depend so much on stuff made overseas. There's this huge, urgent push to bring manufacturing back home, to reshore it, so our economy can be more resilient.
So, let's recap. A workforce crisis, an aging population, fragile supply chains. It sounds pretty grim, right? But this is where the roadmap totally flips the script. It presents this really optimistic vision where robotics isn't just a band-aid, it's a powerful solution to every single one of these problems.
Let's just take construction, for example. I mean, look at this. The industry is booming, but they can't find enough people. To meet demand just this year, they need to find over 500,000 new workers. 500,000! That's a gap you just can't fill the old-fashioned way.
So how can robots help? Well, think about it. They can do the back-breaking heavy lifting, which would slash the crazy high injury rates in that industry. They can crawl into aging bridges and tunnels to do inspections. They can cut down on expensive waste. And here's the really important part. They free up human workers to move from those dangerous, physically demanding jobs into higher-skilled roles, like supervising the work.
And this isn't just about factories and construction sites. The impact could be in our daily lives. Imagine a robot in your basement that senses a pipe burst and shuts the water off before your whole house floods. Or think about healthcare, with robots helping surgeons be more precise, making procedures less invasive. It's about making our lives safer, easier, and just better. But okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fear that robots are just going to take all our jobs. Well, here's where the data gets really interesting. This chart shows something kind of amazing. Between 2010 and 2022, as robot sales in the U.S. went up, so did jobs in manufacturing. It's not one or the other. The takeaway is that real economic growth happens when you have both, automation making us more productive and more people getting hired.
You know, if you're finding this breakdown interesting and you want to keep up with more deep dives like this, it would be a huge help if you take a second to like, share, and subscribe. That way, you won't miss out on what we cover next.
So this brings up a really big question, right? If the need is so obvious and the potential is so huge, why aren't we leading the pack? What's actually holding the U.S. back?
The roadmap points to a few major roadblocks that are really slowing down the adoption of this technology. So let's break them down.
Okay, one of the biggest hurdles, especially for manufacturing, is this thing called lot size 1 operations. It sounds super technical, I know, but the idea is simple. It's about mass customization. Being able to make one unique product for one specific customer, like a car with all your personal options, or sneakers designed just for you. The problem is most robots today are built for old-school assembly lines, doing the same exact thing over and over. They just aren't flexible enough for this new world of on-demand everything.
And it's not just that one manufacturing issue. The roadblocks are bigger. For one, there's a huge skills gap. We just don't have enough people trained to design, run, and work with these advanced machines. And the robots themselves? Honestly, they're still too hard to use. They need to be as simple as an iPhone for everyone to adopt them. We already talked about how they're not adoptable enough. And finally, there's the trust factor. We have to solve some very real concerns about privacy, security, and safety before people are truly comfortable.
All right, so we've laid out the problems, we see the roadblocks. The big question is, how do we fix it? How do we clear the path? The roadmap actually gives us a really clear 4-step plan.
But first, a little bit of important context. For the last 4 years, a couple of really key federal programs just went dark. The National Robotics Initiative, which helped coordinate all the research, and the Congressional Caucus on Robotics. They were both basically inactive, and that created a real leadership vacuum at the very top.
So the roadmap's recommendations are aimed squarely at fixing that. Step 1, get the National Robotics Initiative back online so all our top agencies are on the same page. Step 2, bring back the Congressional Caucus to make this a national priority again. Step 3, invest, and I mean really invest, in training people, at trade schools, in colleges, on the job. And finally, number 4, create programs specifically to help small and medium-sized businesses get on board with this tech, so the benefits don't just go to the giant corporations.
And that really brings us to the final, and maybe the most powerful question the roadmap leaves us with. There's no doubt that robots are going to shape our future. The real question is, how are we going to shape our robots?